Okay, you guys, with 11.3, we're going to be multiplying and dividing equations as your standard. And then again, you will be able to solve equations by multiplying and dividing. Again, with an 80% accuracy at least. We've been your homework problems. Two definitions very similar to last lessons. A division property of equality says that when you have an equation and you divide both sides by the same number, you end up with the same thing. So you're not changing anything. So everything stays true. And then same with the multiplication property of equality. Whenever you multiply the equation by the same number, you end up with the same answer on both sides. So you're not changing anything, okay? So first thing we're going to do is going to use tiles, algebraic tiles, to model an equation. So remember, we're going to create a box. Where you see the equal sign, you're going to draw a line. And then right here I have 3 x tiles. Because I have 3x, I'm going to do my x tiles. I have 1, 2, and 3. Remember, we use rectangles for that. And then right here I have 12. So I'm going to use 12 little square tiles to represent that. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. When you have something like this, what you're going to do is you're going to try to figure out, okay, so 1 x tile equals how many ones, okay, on the other side. So you're separating them into equal groups using the x tile as your basis because you want to see how much one x tile is. So in this case, I can just group them like this. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3, right? So you have the same number, 1 tiles for each of the x tiles. So then I get x, because that's my 1x, right, equals how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I get x equals 4, and that's my answer, okay? If I were to solve it regularly, I would just have to go like this because I want to isolate my x, so I want to do the opposite of this. This is multiplication, so the opposite is division. I want to get rid of the 3. What I do to one side, I do to the other side, and end up with x equals 4, which is the same answer, okay? So let me go ahead and do one of this where you can do. So go ahead and tell me how many x tiles on this side, how many 1 tiles on this side, and then tell me what x equals to. It is separated into equal groups. Alrighty, so now using division to solve equations, that's what we did over here. So again, if I have 9x equals 54, I'm saying 9 times what gives me 54, okay? And many of you can do that mentally, hopefully we all can. But the division property of equality tells us that I can divide both of this by the same number. Let's say coefficient. Remember, coefficient is the number, the digit in front of the variable. That's not a constant, it's a coefficient, okay, to get the variable on its own. So I'm going to divide this by 9. What I do to one side, I do to the other side of the equation. And then that with x equals 54 divided by 9 is 6. And that will be my answer. I'm going to substitute it back in for step number 2 and say that's true. Is it true that 9, because remember x is the time, so I'm going to erase that. I'm going to write 6 equals 54. 9 times 6 is 54. Is it true that 54 equals 54? Check. And last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph it. So x equals 6, so it's 6 right here. Okay, so x equals 6, that's my answer. Okay, go ahead and do this one for me. So what is x equal to? And then what would you graph it on the number line? Okay, using multiplication to solve equations containing division. Same thing. Because this is division, you want to do the opposite, which is multiplication. So I want to get rid of that 5. Okay, so I have to multiply by the divisor, which is a 5. So I'm going to multiply by 5 here. That cancels out because if you were to do that in the long form, I get 5x equals 5, which is just x, right? And I multiply this by 5 as well. So that was 10, sorry. So then I get x equals what? 50, right? And I'm going to substitute in my solution back in here and say that's true. So I'll have this, and I'm going to erase my x. I'm going to write 50. 50 divided by 5 is 10. Is it true that 10 equals 10? Yes, correct. And then last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to graph it. So it will be right here. Okay? Let me give you one to do for this one. Okay. So go ahead and tell me what that x is equal to and what do you do to it to get it. Alrighty. God bless you. You're amazing. You got this. Don't give up. Bye-bye.